Do I do martial arts or weightlifting? That's what we're going to find out today. I've done quite a lot of both. I'm going to tell you some personal stories around this. My journey of this started at 18 years old. I'm 45 now, and I've been through a lot of, switching to this, to that, different types of martial arts, traditional and like MMA, jiu-jitsu, body weight, gym, different types of weightlifting. Pros and cons to both. Depending on where you are in your life, you're going to get a different answer. And I think telling my personal story of this will draw out some of the factors, and you'll be able to say for yourself, well, what applies to me here? Okay, so I actually got in a little bit of a fight when I was a teenager. And I've always been quite intellectual. I wrote books, wrote poetry, quite a sensitive young man, and involved in drugs in a big way as well, creative in many ways. And it was a fight with a friend over a girl, just kind of classic thing. Really like a fist fight, and both of us are rubbish at fighting. But a third guy came up to me. It's in the street in Cambridge, outside a pub. I still know the place exactly. I really remember it. Stormy night. He came and punched me in the back of the head, and I kind of went down. And luckily, sort of people pull him off. But I realised at that point, oh my god, I'm actually super vulnerable here. I've been told my whole life that strength and fighting ability, like I've been told by middle class parents, that stuff doesn't matter. And actually, it does. Like, at least in that moment, I really couldn't look after myself. And I was also wondering what it was to be a man at that point. My dad wasn't great in many ways. He did his best, but, he was an alcoholic, and he wasn't much of a role model to me. Certainly, most of my school teachers were either female or feminine men. I didn't have role models from them. And it struck me I could learn something about masculinity as well from the martial arts. I'd always sort of liked the fantasy of that, growing up with Star Wars and The Matrix and things like that. Actually, The Matrix was fairly new at that point. And I loved those kind of stories. It seemed really cool. So when I went to university, I thought, you know what, I'm going to study a martial art. And I've also had my own amateur, how can I put this in case my mum sees this, amateur pharmaceutical business ventures, let's say. Not particularly high level, but certainly enough that when I went to a big city, I grew up in the countryside. When I went to a big city, I went, you know what, I better look after myself. And it's interesting because that urge, I think, was on one hand very practical. Like I live in I was living in quite a dangerous area of this city because I was a student but quite poor, so I lived in sort of the worst area, and sort of feeling a bit threatened by that, in this big city for the first time. But also, I think it was also a spiritual calling. There was some sense of like, I need some order and discipline. Like a lot of young men I see today, I was alcoholic, like my dad, drug addicted, overly liberally parented. And there was some sense I need something firm, something secure. And I sort of did the rounds of the different martial arts that were available. And I saw Taekwondo, which looked a bit too jumpy aroundy for me. Quite like there was sort of traditional jiu-jitsu, which looked fun. Sporting stuff like judo, less so. And I walked into an Aikido dojo. Actually, it was literally just a room in the university sports center. And I saw something in the movement of it that spoke of kind of power and grace and how everyone lined up and then a uniform. It looked very orderly. And part of me just said, I need this. I need this to survive. I need this on a deep level. I need this to get myself together. So at that point, it was about fighting, but it also wasn't about fighting. And I think that's what the traditional martial arts are really excellent for, is who am I as a person? How do I build my character? I was studying psychology at the same time as well at university, so that made loads of sense to me. Psychology is one of those two, I forget which one in Greek, psi. So that I just dived into. And I very much got caught in the kind of fantasy of it as well. Aikido is definitely one of these arts that's got a lot of fantasy in it. My friend Rock asked I'll channel about his kind of journey away from Aikido. And that is maybe the danger of traditional martial arts, is there's a lot of fantasy world in there. I discovered the gym at the same time. I love strength training, even though my Aikido teachers were telling me it wasn't important. Just, it's simple. There's a simplicity to strength training. I used to do a lot of press-ups. I didn't have much money, but I used to, do it every single day in my room. I would do press-ups, sit-ups, I forget a few other things, to try and get strong. And I didn't really have a good program for it at the time, systemic overload and stuff. But it certainly felt good. And it was, for me, it was something like I wanted some strength in my body, not just to learn this kind of slightly esoteric, more hippie martial art. And I think that's important. And you may just feel that need for, I want to look, I want to physically get some strength. That, I think, is the reason to do strength training. So how would you compare the two? Oh, later on as well, I realized that Aikido had a lot of fantasy in, and I did MMA quite intensely for a year, and Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've since done a couple of years like boxing, Thai boxing, and I think that sort of rounds you out as a martial artist. And that was probably at the point when I'd integrated the traditional martial arts, that way of being. People would say you're very disciplined. I was sober at that point, off drugs. I started a business. My life was getting together. And people would say, oh, you're a really disciplined guy. And I'd go, wow, I used to be this chaotic hippie guy, and now everyone thinks I'm super together. So I'd integrated those lessons of discipline. And at that point, it became maybe less of a need for that. And I started to wonder, well, I was in my early 30s at that point. I started to wonder, well, what's a real fight like? Kind of coming back to the reality of it, right? Reality-based stuff. MMA was kind of taking off at that point. There was one MMA club in Brighton, which is a town I used to live in, which is a sort of, smallish city, but now it's probably got a bunch. One good jiu-jitsu club at that time. And that was fantastic, and I got to be competitive. Aikido was all cooperation, which was good for me at one point, but then at a certain point, in order to kind of reclaim another side of the masculine, another side of one's nature, I needed to do the competitive. And I think you learn different things from both. There's an aesthetic to Aikido, there's a beauty to it, a creativity to it, and a subtlety to it. I studied it all around the world. I was actually a live-in Aikido student for 3 years in Brazil, 3 parts in the United States, 2 places in England, not in Japan actually, weirdly, but I did train there briefly. And I learned so much on the sort of subtle level, but that competitive side taught me another thing. And interestingly, I came to that competitive side, this big ego. Rockas's martial arts journey was very similar, actually. It was a mate of mine. You can look at his channel, there's much more detailed if you want to see this journey. And there's a disillusionment where the fantasy comes crashing down. And a lot of people will build their egos in traditional martial arts, in Jitsu or Aikido or something like that. They're kind of king of their own little world. I mean, honestly, I did meet some egos in traditional martial arts, but I also just met a lot of really good mentors, good people like William Smith, Gordon Jones, the Hellsbys in Brighton, Paul Linden, one of my main teachers in the trauma work that I'm now involved with. Really good people who mentored me. And I think that's a big part of the decision is, the gym or the dojo, what are the people like? People look for the art, like, should I do jiu-jitsu? Should I do Aikido? But what are the people like that create the culture of that place? So I did a lot of body weight stuff. I mean, during COVID, that really ramped up when gyms were closed, but also I used to travel a lot. And I think this is a really important consideration, is just practicality. So for me, body weight was great because I couldn't always get to a gym. Like I'd always do it, especially when I was very busy with work. I could do 20 minutes of body weight every 2 days. And you can build some muscle with that. Do some pull-ups, do some push-ups, eventually I could do like 10 handstand push-ups, which is quite a lot apparently, it's decent shoulder strength. At a certain point though, I went through another year or two where weights just really appealed to me, and I had this like snobbery from doing martial arts and also yoga at the time, that somehow the gym was for normies, it was for people who were somehow shallow. And I had to get past that. To go to the gym. A lot of people look down on it who are coming from counterculture, which I find bizarre. Another factor that came in is at a certain point, I just admitted that aesthetics mattered. So I don't think aesthetics are the most important thing in life, right? Like, if you're a bad person and you're physically sick, it doesn't matter how you look. Yeah, but for me, it became a factor, and I went, what, aesthetics are a thing. Women pay attention to that. I like myself better when I have aesthetics. So, that is part of what I do now. Part of the reason I lift is for aesthetics. I got a compliment from my girlfriend today, and I was like, it's nice. It's nice. And my self-esteem shouldn't rest upon that. And, body dysmorphia could be an issue for some people. If that's you, that the gym might not be the best place for you, right? If you're highly sensitive to that, or you're prone to like super vanity or whatever. So that could be a good or a bad thing. But I think denying aesthetics exists is part of counterculture. You'll find that in some counterculture. And then people swing the other way. You'll see this with yoga. They're either doing yoga just for aesthetics or pretending that's not part of their equation when it really is. The other factor for me is just aging. Like, can you do MMA into your 40s and 50s? Yes, there are people who do. However, it's pretty hard on the body. Yeah, can you do heavy weightlifting into your 40s and 50s? Yes, but I certainly have to train differently now. I found though, with weightlifting, there's a degree of control over that, whereas in martial arts, you've always got the complexity of another human being, particularly in the competitive martial arts, that someone can just rough roll with you and be unpleasant, and at my age you might be feeling it for a few days. Also, I remember once going to work with a black eye, and I was doing a talk, corporate talks and things like that, and I just thought, this doesn't look good, this doesn't really fit, and the amount of training I need to do. The other thing is, it became increasingly hard for me to find like a good Aikido dojo, because I got more and more snobby about it. I got more and more into more and more refined in a good way, in terms of what I would want to train with. And it was always limited. So the practicalities here are really important. Like gyms are open often 24 hours or quite long hours of the day. Wherever I travel, I can find a gym, and I couldn't always find a good Aikido club. That being said, when I did travel and work and find Aikido clubs, often I'd make friends, very friendly people. It's not always the case in a gym. Aikido, martial arts, often there's a culture there of kind of, where are you from, and you want to train with us, great. Other places that I walked into, they were like Shark Tanks. You walked in and people were just trying to prove something with martial arts, trying to rip your arm off, and it'd be very dangerous going into some dojos for jiu-jitsu or Aikido. So I have to be a bit careful with that. So mixed blessings there, right? Certainly though, for me now, I think practicality is one of the overwhelming things. It's just the availability of weights. That being said, there's almost like an unscratched itch for me. So I'll sometimes do, a morning boxing class once a week, or kickboxing, the odd class, or, I can imagine getting into jiu-jitsu again if I was in a place. I'm trying to find like a tutor to do one-to-ones who can do like early mornings with me, for example, which I can afford now, but I'm just in a place where I can't find that. So the practicalities, I'd say, are absolutely huge here. So I think the key factors to think about, if you are making this choice, they do seem to be the most popular thing for young men, for example, is like, what's really practical in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of access, right? So there's definitely times in my life I had more money or less money. That was a factor. More time or less time, where I lived in bigger cities, or now I live in a tiny little town. What else is going on in my life? I can imagine when I have children, for example, I can plan the next few years, I can cut right back on the weights and still lift a little bit. But there is a point with martial arts when it just becomes not worth training. It like once every 2 weeks or something just doesn't make sense. And also the minimum time commitment to go there, train and come back might be 3 hours. Whereas for body weight, you can do 20 minutes, you can do 10 minutes. Like I've got a pull-up bar in my kitchen. I just bash out some pull-ups here we go. Bash out some pull-ups on the way into the kitchen. You're like 3 minutes, no problem, 1 minute. So the practicalities are more important than you think. But the other key thing here is like the soul calling, right? Like I was soul called at one point to do Aikido, and then at a certain point it was MMA, Jiu-Jitsu. That was just a deep calling. And I used to get up really early, cycle through the rain across town, really committed to it. Business probably suffered that year, actually, where I was training like 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. My soul was called to do that. And then the same with weights. Like the last 3 or 4 years, it's just been like my passion. Again, that also depends what's going on in your life. So one reason I love weights is the simplicity. So now I run a business, I have employees, I'm doing a lot of different projects. The simplicity of steel is just gorgeous, and the stress relief, the stress relief of doing that is fantastic. Whereas I'm not sure I'd get that simplicity and stress relief from certain martial arts now. So another one is like, what are your friends doing? Where is the social support? Where is the great culture? Lastly, I'd say the key one is, what do you need? Right? So yes, there's the calling, the passion, then there's the practicality, but then there's also what's the purpose, so you've got passion, practicality, purpose. what are you building? So for me to get that discipline in Aikido was really necessary, and then it was like, okay, but can I compete in the kind of masculine competitive arena without fantasy? That was a different thing. With weightlifting, I get something different from it now. What embodiment, I'd say, watch my other videos on that, am I building here? What way of being? So I'm not just looking at it physically. So yes, physically, what do I need? Is this going to mean I'm crunched up, and is it going to mean I'm feeling good for my work? Particularly related to what's important to you. Okay, so unless you're very young, generally, or trying to be a pro fighter, good luck to you, or whatever, a pro lifter, good luck if you are. Most people on this channel aren't that. So what's important to you? The most important things in your life should be nourished by the martial art or the weightlifting. Okay, so it's not a simple answer. Anyone who says martial arts are better than weightlifting is wrong. We might say that martial arts is very interesting. If you see a fight, people will think Joe Rogan says this. If there's a football match on, people would stop watching the football to go watch a fight. But in terms of doing it, it's what's interesting to you, what's practical to you, what actually builds the way of being you want. And the key thing there is not to lie to yourself. Am I doing this for aesthetics? Is this sort of an addiction now? I've definitely seen that in weightlifting and martial arts. It's not really something I'm even choosing. It was loss of freedom. Is it actually building the person I want to be, or is it creating? Like, there's a guy in my gym who's just really aggressive, does powerlifting. He's just really aggressive, and I go, is that who he wants to be? Because that practice seems to be making him more aggressive, as far as I can tell. He might say, oh, it's stress relief, but I think it looks like he's getting more and more aggressive. He's a bit of a fucking royally psycho. Same with Aikido. Is it making you more disciplined, or is it just making you like this sort of bit of a sort of fantasy world? He thinks he's a Jedi who isn't. Be honest with yourself, yeah. So there's my story. It might not be yours. A few considerations. Hopefully that is useful.